Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to TraderTV.live. North American stock futures back in positive territory, looking to extend the post-election rally that was started yesterday. Big move to the upside yesterday, even with no results yet for the election, obviously. We had certain news outlets late in the day yesterday starting to declare both Michigan and Wisconsin toward Joe Biden, giving him very close to that 270 mark. Even other news outlets now saying Arizona to Joe Biden, getting him even closer to that 270. So we'll continue to watch 270 electoral votes. Obviously, we'll continue to watch as numbers come in and the market reacts to that. U.S. equities also up yesterday despite record COVID-19 cases reported both in the U.S. and throughout Europe in numerous different countries in Europe. So that remains in the background once the election hype does start to die down once again. Individually this morning, we're seeing cannabis stocks moving higher as the likelihood of a Biden presidency becomes more or higher of a chance. We're seeing some of these cannabis stocks moving to the upside. We'll talk about that. Chipmaker Qualcomm with better than expected earnings, big move to the upside. And Expedia, some of the travel names starting to move. Expedia reporting earnings as well. It's Thursday, November 5th, 2020. TraderTV.live starts now. We're going to look at Asian markets from the overnight session. You can see big moves to the upside. Both Chinese markets, 4% for Shanghai, 3.25% for Hong Kong. Let's go over to Europe and see how things are shaping up. Nicely positive right across the board here as well. We'll shift over to North America and see more positive numbers. Yeah, look at the NASDAQ, 2.5% again today, 1+% for the most part throughout the rest of the markets here. I want to draw your attention to Bitcoin. Wow, 5.8% to start the day. We have crude oil to the downside slightly. Gold as well in positive territory, 1.8%, guys, for some of these markets are having quite the day once again. It is the day after and still no results, but we are here. There's lots to look at. The markets are open. Stocks are moving.
Yeah, it's more or less no change from yesterday's action. You're indicating the exact same thing in the results. It's just a matter of when. So we're seeing a continuation of the theme. Some of the names that might benefit from Biden presidency are headed to the upside. We talked about the lack of the ability to have push taxes through, large environmental reform. That's why we're shorting some solar yesterday. All those things probably not going to happen with a Republican Senate. So lots of things to watch today. I mean, I can't say enough about XPeng and NEO both looking strong. Actually, XPeng looking stronger today of the two, believe it or not. I think it's the first time I've seen that in a few sessions. Either way, EV space front of the mind today, along with, of course, Sean Cannabis.
Yeah, guys, I mean, we're just been hitting us out of the park, and I hope a lot of you have been making some of these trades with us here. We've been long cannabis. I've been talking about that for a month, so you guys know that. Hopefully that's a good trade for you. I was talking with Rob today. He's crushing it on that AMD trade that we all put on, $75, $76. Microsoft, we put that on at $201. Look, man, the market is in the best case scenario right now where you're going to get a Democratic president, most likely. I don't know. That's what the odds are saying. That's what the market's relying on here. And a Senate that's Republican. So this is perfect. They're going to get nothing done. This is perfect for stocks. Keep on going. It's all about growth, baby. And here we go. The portfolio just rips up. I'm long this KXIN, so we'll see if that does anything.
Yeah, news on Cation Auto over in China. If you remember, going back a couple of weeks, had a big move to the upside. Used auto dealer, online used auto dealer over in China. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. Here's what's coming up a little bit later on this morning. We have another great video for you, educational video on order types. 3 of them, in fact, that every trader has to have, according to us anyways, in their back pocket and rely on day in and day out. So we'll talk about our favorite or kind of go-to order types in that video. Valeria will have that link for you coming up around 11:40, 11:45. Speaking of Valeria, let's go over to the desk and say good morning to her.
Good morning, Brandon, and hey guys, I wish you all a great trading day. Please subscribe to our channel, share the link with friends, and smash the like button. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Yes, let's indeed get it started. We have lots to talk about. If you're joining us for the first time, guys, welcome. Hit the like and subscribe. We do this every single day between 9 a.m. and 9:30. We talk about all the stocks that are moving around in the pre-market, touch on any new catalyst or news stories that relate to those stocks and why, and then come up with a game plan as to how we're going to trade them when the market opens at 9:30. Cannabis stocks, the big ones today to the upside, right from when I sat down first off this morning. Big moves up right across the board. ACB was 30% at one point. It's come back in a little bit along with the rest of them. But, I mean, take your pick here, guys. Any of these stocks going to be big-time moves to the upside today.
My weed Batman thing's not working, damn it. Yeah, no, look, Canopy was on with Jim Cramer yesterday or a couple days ago, and they talked all about it. I mean, Canopy, in my opinion, is going to be the best of breed. Well, it is the best of breed anyways, if you want to get sort of everything. They have that Acreage Holdings deal. They got the investment on the liquor side of things with Constellation. So, yeah, look, I mean, I love CGC, and, you know, we loved it even more, though, guys, when it was back down, when we tweeted it out, back down 14-15 when we had the first couple debates. Now, look, I mean, it's obviously the talk here is going to be you had 5 or 6 more states legalize, you know, recreational marijuana. Who knows? We're going to see what happens with the edible market and things like that. It's got to get out of dispensaries and into like convenience stores before we start seeing anything on this move. And I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. We're already above. We're trying to poke its head above this $23, $24, $25 area for Canopy. And I just don't know if it gets to there today. We were talking about it before about fading some of these names, and I think that's probably the right thing to do. The growers are the ones I think that are in the most trouble because we had that Medcol Kana guy on, and he was talking about 4 cents per gram. So I don't like any of these growers because it's going to be very, very hard to compete in this space. You're growing a plant. So until that gets going, I think we fade stocks like ACB and then go long on Canopy. And True Leave is another one there in the States as well. Growth Generation, GRWG, another one, the Home Depot of hydroponics.
I like that. I think it's working now. No, maybe there it is. Yes, we do have weed. It should be working. I think the crew. Thank you, Rob, for getting that to go. Look, the last time we got pops, I was looking to short ACB. I'm going to stick to sort of that plan. Bouncing right on the 50 period and sort of trying to hold above it. And it looks like it's not going to happen. You already saw the retracement in just about every single name. The level I'm watching, you know, right now is going to be a couple of sessions ago. We did have a top of 512. Certainly, if we get below that, the retracement's in. I want to short any pop into like 550, 560 on ACB here. I think 580 is a good level to the top side here. Ignoring the high of the day, I just like the 580 when I went to a higher time frame. So I want to be fading this. It's already down towards what I thought would be the first support level. So it looks like the market agrees to sell some of this positivity that's coming to the space.
All right, guys, let's talk about Cation Auto, this KXIN Auto Holdings, signing an agreement with another online Chinese auto dealer, specifically the other company, which is Heitosh Limited, import vehicles into the Chinese market, used vehicles, so they're teaming up to combine both of their sites to increase exposure, obviously. But nice deal for KXIN. A little bit of positivity here. I mean, this thing is very strong sitting here right now in the pre-market.
Yeah,
Already long.
Yeah, it was relatively strong compared to some of these gap ups that you usually see in names like this. Obviously, it did already have a parabolic a couple weeks ago. You can certainly see that. If it gets to like I have a few levels here, 550, 630, I think is going to be possibly the bigger one. When I talk about it being, when we talk about something being strong, you always want to see in the pre-market, does it hold some higher lows after showing it wants to come back, and does volume start creeping up? Going into the open on that move to the upside. I think that's the key thing here. There was a volume spike through high of day, 550, like I said, and then 6. And then just a little bit higher than that. I think if we get past that 6 level, it's like 630 to the upside that I've been watching for a couple of targets. If it gets past there, likely you're looking at some halt scenarios. If it gets below 490, I think that's going to be the case that maybe this is a little bit overdone, and that's where it might start to come back in. So, you know, I'm not touching this one short till I get a failure at this current pre-market high. Back down through 490, or a rollover at 630 or 550.
I would love that rollover at 630. That would be fantastic. We're already long at 520, so we're going to hope to see that this one goes. We did play that break. It only went in the money like 5 cents, so I'm going to get out if it does break, you know, below VWAP sort of 480, 470. Man, these damn wires, I don't know what keeps happening down here. But yeah, so we're long that one. We're just going to hold it. We'll get some out if it goes up. Like I said, the most important thing here is an out, right? So my out's going to be down here, 480, just breaking this VWAP, and we'll see what happens. Otherwise, I can't predict what's about to happen. If this goes to $6, then hell yeah. What's not on our list today, and I noticed it, we've just been so many things. Bitcoin broke 15,000. It's back down below now, but if you're trading anything Bitcoin or been in any crypto, man, congratulations. It's like 60% in just over a month. So I'm a bag holder in crypto and in weed stocks. So very interesting couple of months here for us.
All right, guys. Yeah, I noticed some of the blockchain stocks popping up in the pre-market as well. RIOT, you can look at MARA, the other one, MARA, moving around a little bit in the pre-market. Across the board again today, 2 days in a row, volume in the pre-market, multiples of what it usually is right across the board. So we should have a good day once again. Let's go to Qualcomm. Much better than expected quarter for QCOM. Out with earnings this morning, in fact, posting $6.5 billion in revenue, up 35% year over year. They're set to roll out and ramp up production of Apple's 5G iPhone chips as well, guys. So nice look for QCOM here this morning.
Yeah, I mean, we just keep smiling away here because, I'm like totally bullish on everything tech. So this just keeps lifting the portfolio higher and higher. And these are easy beats, man. I mean, look, Qualcomm's 5G. They're in Apple phones. No surprise there. Apple's going to sell more iPhone 12s than probably any other unit they've ever sold. So we'll wait on that one. But Qualcomm, basically giving us those numbers right here, up 13%, just keeps on ripping to the high side uncontrollably. Look at the daily chart. You can see what's happened here. Every single little bump up. What a great buy this was in March, but everything was. So now we're over 150, and it just approach 150. That's the level I wrote down was 150 break. Now that was the high right here. I mean, that's going to be too far away to be playing that as a realistic level right now, I feel. So you got to look at a VWAP break of 147. This just reminds me of all those crazy beats that we've already seen, except for this is a big company. We saw Tupperware, we saw Harley Davidson. We've seen some of these companies that come in, Pinterest, they come in and they're up multiples here and they just continue to go. So I actually like this level, I guess, if we're going to be really, really patient, 148. Otherwise, let's just keep buying some dips down here. But again, the NASDAQ's pulling back down, right? I mean, as it becomes more clear that Biden probably wins this thing, saw it was 80-20 on Predictive website. I do think the NASDAQ does pull down a little bit here. So this is a great movement up for the NASDAQ. I just don't want to go long Qualcomm too early, just in case the market does come, because Qualcomm will be pegged to the NQ.
Yeah, I mean, you're already starting to see a little bit of a roll down to 1,200 on the NASDAQ. I mean, it's not much, but it could be a little bit of something. I'm just eyeballing about, if you go a little bit deeper to the downside, 137 and 142 are the first levels that I'm going to be watching, just to see if there's any kind of support down there. You get a gap up this big, buying the dip, at least for me, and maybe this is too anecdotal, but just for me, lately has been a much better play than playing some of the breakouts. It is following through in terms of us holding higher than some of those post-market levels in earnings, but I'd rather buy dips than buy breaks at these prices. All bets are off.
Let's go to the EV space, guys. We had big moves yesterday right across the board, specifically on the Chinese names. So Li Auto, we have that XPeng, XPEV, back to the upside again this morning. Relative volume through the roof once again this morning. I was just noticing this XPEV already 3 million shares. All-time highs yesterday for this thing. We're up again. Yeah, wow. 10% now for XPEV. I mean, we can look at NIO, another one. All-time highs yesterday. Here we go again, back to the upside.
Yeah, and like we said, XPeng just leading the group today, which is a bit of a first. I mean, you're getting obviously another gap. You do see how strong the follow-through is. Just worth noting. I mean, you look at this break to the upside off the open. It never even pulled back into pre-market lows. So if you're looking to even consider buying a dip into this move, you're probably thinking about having to step in at like 29.50, maybe even as close as 30 even, or simply play the break. And one thing that's certainly been true is there has been pretty good opportunities to roll over into shorts, at least in XPeng from what I've noticed. And I wouldn't be looking at that until, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, we're probably talking about another move up like this, and we're looking at like 32.50, 35, some levels like that that'll come into play. First things first, I mean, if we hold 29 to 29.50, that price area, it looks like we're probably all systems go to run again. This is just crushing shorts. The only hesitation should be that NEO wasn't quite as strong, and we have seen that lead the group. If NEO's breaking through the bottoms, I would hesitate to take this one breaking out.
It's XPEV. Yeah, why is it not working? It's .ny. Okay, so here we go. I was just looking at NEO and I switched back over. So yeah, no reason why you can't just take this top either, guys. $30.75 just makes perfect sense to try to blow this one out. I mean, they're just ripping up. You just see the action in the electronic market here for cars. EV space has just been huge. So yeah, I don't see any way to fade this, and I wouldn't do that. I would just wait for it to break $30.75 and then get out like at 33 or something. We'll just see how high this wants to go. If it has the momentum in it, we've seen what NEO can do. That's going to be next on the list, and yeah, that just keeps on ripping up. Brendan, I don't know if you want to mention anything about NEO. It is on the list, and it's not really so specific to news today.
No, I mean, the entire group, we can talk about it if you want to have a look at NEO as well. I mean, it's the same thing. It's China, it's EV space. NEO has been the leader. We saw again yesterday, back to all-time highs. So yeah, let's talk about NEO.
So yeah, the same play as yesterday, I think, reigns true. NEO was one of the highest stocks for me yesterday, and what we did was we let it settle down in the morning and then picked up. We actually were long down, basically down here at the virtual bottom yesterday. I think it was 36.76 or something that we were long, and then able to go in, get out before this drop. The only thing we missed was this VWAP break. So that happens at 10 o'clock. So you got to watch out. There are moves possibly in NEO all day, right? I mean, and once they get going, it's very, very hard to stop this train. A few downward pullbacks there. And we talked about yesterday buying consolidation dips. So that happened. And again, if that's going to happen today, I think you can get back down. Unfortunately, it's hard to say this because we're at almost $39, but 37.20 is a nice little consolidation spot. So is 37.65. So we'll put some bids there, see if we get lucky to hit that. What we haven't done is look at the imbalance locator today, and this is why. So Hexo, marijuana stock, there's XPEV, we've talked about that. Uber will get, I don't know if we'll get to Uber, but we will be trading that today for sure. ACB on the buy, but there's NEO, guys, 1.7 million, so it's already done 7.5. We've got 1.6 sitting here. So yeah, that's probably pushing this up right now. Once the buy imbalance is gone, then it will probably fade back, which is, like I've been saying, is normally do. I'll be sitting here at 37.60, guys.
Yeah, I'll be watching one thing about NEO. If you go to just a 15-minute chart here, a couple of times in the last few sessions, I'm talking about the 28th, and then you can sort of go back to the 30th as well. If it has failed to break through previous day and pre-market highs, both of those two levels, it has ended up being sideways or slightly down. So that's why we'll be watching this very, very closely. 39.75, 39.50. That's why I give a bit of caution to the breakout in XPeng. If we don't get that type of break on NEO at any of those levels in the first like 10, 15 minutes, the last couple of weeks, it's usually meant mostly sideways action, NIO, and that could hold things a little bit. Worth noting, both of those days, it wasn't like it was a sharp sell-off either. It still recovered in the afternoon and ended up basically flat before ramping the following day. So I'm not saying it's going to roll over off a cliff, but it could slow down XPeng if NEO doesn't take out 40.
Lots more to get through this morning, guys. If you're wondering what on earth we're doing, this is the Morning Movers watch list. You can sign up in the link that Valeria will help you out with in the chat. If you have not done so already, it's absolutely free. We send it out to you every single morning before we come on at 9 a.m. All of the stocks that are moving around in the pre-market and why. And then we spend 9 to 9:30 talking about how we can potentially trade them coming up at the open. There's so many more to get through here, guys. General Motors, better than expected earnings out this morning, pointing towards stronger demand for trucks and SUVs. This has been a bit of a theme. We saw Ford reporting the same thing, higher demand for trucks and SUVs in their latest quarter, but decent numbers here for GM today, guys.
Rolling towards, trying to roll towards this 38 level, which will be a big one. You got to go all the way back into last year if we break 38 to find some highs in GM. And look, the car is everyone's fortress. It makes people feel safe in these COVID times. So you're seeing strong demand. Obviously, this is going to be true. GM just the latest to show this truth. I'm going to be defending yesterday's close. Now, ignore this wick. Forget about that. There was some pre-market action down around 36. But on very, very light volume, some overnight dumps. So I'd much more be interested in, if we look at the consolidation here, 36.60, yesterday's close at 35.25. If we come back halfway, we're probably looking to start defense at about 35.90 to 36 even. Has nothing to do with these pre-market levels. I'm just looking at where we're consolidating now relative to yesterday's close. So again, I'd like to be buying a dip in here. It does feel like the market off of this move up wants to initially sell. That's what it seems like going into the open.
So I'll look at Ford. We talked about Ford down at 650. It makes a run to about 825 and then pulls back yesterday. Look, the thing for me here is obviously it's all about trucks. We talked about that. That's why we upgraded Ford about a month ago. And then now today GM comes out and basically says the same thing. So no surprise there. The thing is these stocks are still considered, in my opinion anyways, value stocks. They have dividends and whatnot. So I just don't see money flying into GM and Ford like I do into all these other tech names. So for me, Ford and GM, I'll stay away from them, but they're great stocks. And congratulations to anybody that's been bullish on the auto sector the last couple months.
All right, guys, Alibaba, another one that reported earnings better than expected right across the board for the e-commerce giant coming out of China as well. So there's that aspect to this. They also said because of the Ant Group IPO being shelved, they're going to pay back all of the sign-up. So anyone who signed up to be a part of that IPO, they're going to refund all of that money. So the quarter itself was good. Q4 forecast, but they're also going to pay back the sign-ups for that IPO, guys.
Yeah, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was like 6 months a minimum that'll be before anything does happen with Ant. But I could be a little bit wrong about that. Look, ultimately, Alibaba, we did see some levels of support when it initially dropped down on this news. So, you know, we got this, it was a great bottom at 280, and then we talked about this at 285, 286 area, which it looks like once again, Alibaba is going to try to hold here. If we do flush through, I think it's one of those shorts where I'd much rather be sort of fading 284, 285 into what was such a strong buy down at 280, as opposed to trying to take a breakdown of the low, which is so close to what'll possibly be a wall in front of you. So any short, I think it's better off having it at 85 if you got to have it. If it tests 280 and bounces there, I'll try to go into a long, the same structure as before. Bounce off 280. If it gets into that 83 to 85 range and goes sideways, you buy it from there and then see how far you can go. You do have to watch out. Obviously, the recovery was a bit muted, paying everyone back. Maybe the NASDAQ selling back off just a little bit here. All of these things could possibly tend towards a 280 test. That's going to be that big level that we'll be watching today.
Okay, yesterday, guys, those of you that watched us trade Alibaba, you know we crushed it. We took multiple dollars on this break right here. So if you could see, this is what we were. We waited. We were very, very patient. I wanted to get in Alibaba earlier yesterday. I mean, obviously it was election day, so lots of things happening. But we were very, very patient. We waited for this level to break. And when it did, man, it was very, very profitable. 291.50 all the way to the upside. It goes all the way to 298 and change. So we talked about that. We had that break yesterday, but it didn't happen until near the end of the, near the end of the show, but 10:45 or so. So I'm kind of looking, here's the same sort of situation right now for Alibaba. We're to the downside, but we still have this 88, so 89, I guess, 289 I like in Alibaba. If we can break that, we'll watch it, but I'm not going to take this right off the open. The share size and everything that I want to use on this, I'm not comfortable taking this here and then watching the market possibly retrace down. I was talking about the market being a little too overheated, and I get that feeling, but we'll wait. So 289 on Baba. We'll take a small spot there, but the bigger trade, I think, comes a little bit later once it settles down.
All right, guys, let's have a look at the overall market. We'll bring Arun in and get our daily dose of futures data here. We're up 1.6% here, Arun, heading towards the open. Top end of the daily chart range again. What do we have to look at here today?
I'm keeping an eye on 35.10. We just turned around here, so that will be the high, the overnight high. We just put in around 7 o'clock this morning, or no, it was like 6:30, 6:15 this morning. So that's the high. That's the most recent high. So I'll keep an eye on that, of course. And I think 34.55 on the bottom end. There seems to be a lot of action between 34.80 and going all the way down to 34.55. So I think that might be a roadblock for us. If we were to go down, that might be a roadblock that might just turn us right back around. So 34.80 going down to 34.55. I'm keeping an eye on for potential longs. And if we can break 35.10, that's an extension, so maybe long here as well. I'm going to keep a very close eye on 95 through evens. If we can actually properly set up, then I might want to take a short there, but that's not as strong as the 80 to 55 long that I would take. So a couple of trades there. 35.10 long, if you break it, break through to new highs. 34.80 going down to 34.55 can get you a potential bounce long. And then if you get a proper setup between 34.95 into the 3,500s, then you have a potential short, but I'd be careful about that one because the momentum is to the buy side a little bit. So I just want to be careful with the short on that side, but the 2 longs are available for you there, Brennan.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check in again tomorrow with Arun. Before we get to the open, lots of little ones moving around. Not lots, but a few little ones moving around this morning. Altus midstream, ALTM here up almost 100% now. This is a former SPAC that is now oil and gas company. 3 million free float on this stock. It's done about 400,000 already and moved this much, worth noting, moved that much on 400,000. $15 down here, we're at 20. I was just looking at a daily chart. I mean, 22 to 23, maybe you run into a little bit of resistance, but big high flyer already, guys. ALTM, better than expected earnings on this one.
Yeah, that one is absolutely going crazy there. There is one other small cap, Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment, a bit of a deal with I think it was like NFL Films or something along those lines. You're going to try to guess which one we don't have locates on today. Yeah, it's going to be HOFV. I mean, the retracement is so obvious and on in this one. So giving just about everything back. It's gone from $6 to $3, but $2 where it closed yesterday. You see the news there at the bottom. I would love to have this one. I was looking at a 330 break to the downside. That already happened. We don't have any shorts on it, but we do have that KXIN. It is starting to make a bit of a bounce and a play off of that 485, 490 area that we're sort of talking about a little bit earlier. It's going to be an interesting test to see if it holds above this pricing. If it does, it's been looking strong all morning. I think that's going to be the key. I'm not shorting it. Unless it breaks and holds below after the open, or we get a test of either 550 or 630 to that upside. So a lot of things for us to be watching. That ALTM looks like it could go crazy. Liquidity very low on that, so I would watch out for potential of halts. And just, you can't really size up too much on that, and I would expect some halts on the upside if it keeps going.
I know a lot of you are looking at Palantir with me. We put a buy on this, and again, I know a lot of you watch the show also for some, longer-term plays. We put a buy on Palantir down at $9.50. We're up to $11 right now. I think 11.05 break, we'll take that. So that's a stock that we'll look at. And another one that we've been pretty good on, and we just talked about this the other day, picking up some DraftKings in the low 30s, mid 30s. I guess that's as far as it went. You're going to see today now DraftKings to the high side, 41.50, and still making moves. We talked about, this is the only reason why we put some buys on DraftKings. Not only the only reason, but we fell down from $65 all the way down here into mid 30s. And you cannot go wrong if you want to talk about investments a little bit. Whenever you get, areas like this where you have some consolidation, especially on fresh IPOs like DraftKings, you do have, some buyers and some interest here. So between 30 and 40, there's a lot of back and forth. We were able to pick some up. I think it was 35.25 or something was our buy. So now we're up to 41. I'm not getting out. I think we go all the way back to the high side. But congratulations. I just wanted to bring that up to anybody that was long DraftKings. And we'll look at 41.50 now. That's, it's obviously it's way up. DraftKings hasn't moved great intra-market the last couple days. Some of the moves have actually been faded down. So I'm not going to take DraftKings off the open whatsoever. You'll see me in that Cation. Neil just talked about it. I'm still the same position. It goes right down to VWAP. We're still waiting for a 480 break. That probably happens. This is not a huge position. It's just one that if we do get to that $6 level that Neil was mentioning, that I will obviously be really well off. So we'll hold that for that and we'll wait. Otherwise, 480. So it's about like a 50-cent risk either way here, and I think it's worth it, especially there. So XPEV, we're going to look at that to take out the top. NEO's going as well. We already have that. And Qualcomm through 148. So much to trade, guys.
Yeah, and the production team having some fun over here. But it's on the list here, a Hanes brand. Wait till we get our Hanes off you, because you don't want to be guiding lower when everyone's sandbagging earnings during COVID and you then guide lower. Not a great sign. You're trading off 13%. Short sell restricted right into this 1370 support area. We already bounced off it in the pre-market. I'll be selling this one in front of 15 today if it catches any kind of a bit of a bounce there. So I look to pile in on Hanes here just with that weak guidance. Watching XPeng here already make a move towards the top there. I was initially thinking that NEO could drag this one to the downside, so you'd be looking at a dip buy on XPEV. So far, that does not seem to be the case. It's making a run at that 30.75. I talked about my reluctance to short it until a little bit later on in the session, or a little bit higher prices, like 32.50 or something like that. That ALTM looks like it's starting to come back in. It just got to $20. Below 16, I'd be much more comfortable shorting that one as well. But XPeng, front of the mind here, is headed towards the top. Valeri is on the bell. And okay, there you go. Countdown on. For a second there, I thought I hit the wrong key, but I did not.
No, I hit that because I think XPeng's going to cook through 35 there. Okay, let's go. Good job, Larry. We are now open. Watch out for your Bitcoin investments and whatnot as Bitcoin nearing that 15,000 again. We have Qualcomm. We're waiting for that to break through 145. Other than that, man, XPev, Palantir, everything. We're just waiting for these stocks to bust through. Watching Qualcomm, seeing if we can't make a bottom.
That didn't happen, did it? Sorry, no, I just had this weird wick down to 141 on Qualcomm, and I mean, it didn't have the stock up. I mean, if it went down there, that was a missed opportunity. Talked about 142 and 137 as some potential dips. I don't think it really did that off the open. That seems crazy to me. Holding 145 for now on Qualcomm. Also watching, waiting for the open on XPeng here. Right back down to 30. KXI, I'm only shorting if it breaks that 480, but it looks like Qualcomm, the dip could be on. Watching 142, 137 first turn going long Qualcomm.
Okay, CGC could break through 20. I think that's a trade that we could take here. CGC up pretty high today. We could take this break back down through 20. Downside right there. The high side on CGC, $20.65. I don't even see that we're open yet. I don't think. No, we're not. So we're going to wait on CGC to get open here, guys.
Yeah, also looking at Tilray just over in the same space as well. This stock still up that 13%, but it is testing towards the low. KXIN just broke that 85, so I took my first short there at 82s, and still watching XPeng trying to test the highs. Tilray, if it's not going to hold this 677, I'm going to walk away from any idea of going long in this name, and I want to be fading ACB. So a breakdown, I think we'll be looking to get in some ACB.
Okay, yeah, Aurora Cannabis, big name there, guys. We'll also be looking to get into some of these cannabis spaces as we go. What's up, Brandon?
Upwork, guys, UPWK or on the NASDAQ, I guess it is, online employment agency, Upwork. This is all-time highs up here. Big gap to the upside, 36% after better than expected earnings, guys.
Okay, we're already into XPev here, so it already broke. I don't know if it's open yet. We're in and out for a nice little win there, so we're already ringing the registers, man. Long at 30.70. I don't know. I'm just going to get out of this. I don't know. I guess it's going to be opening right now, it looks like, XPev, but we're long, guys, and just took some out.
Yeah, I think that's always a smart play. When you do get a breakout without the NYSE opening the stock, typically it can be a good idea to wait for it. That's why Sean slips out of the trade there, and you're just going to see all these stacked NYBs. We haven't had an official open, but it does seem like it's going to open higher, guys. It looks like it is going to open higher. Brendan, what's up?
Plug Power, another one starting to go here again. Back to that EV space. Plug Power, 7.5%. Coming up to $18. Was just checking on this high up here. Is $19.15 for Plug, guys.
Guys, we're doing this already on XPev, man. Yeah, we're long here, and we're already huge. So we're long at $30.70. We'll just see. It's the only trade that we have on. We also have Palantir long at 95, looking like it wants to break 11 right now. So that's a nice little 5-cent winner. But yeah, I don't know. XPev, we just got some out above 31 there. So good little trade, but this one could fade in still.
Yeah, it looks like when it opened up, that's when I finally took the break in XPeng, and it looks like it does want to seem to come back in here. Look, you got to watch out for a couple of things. This first little level at 30.25, that was the initial sort of, I guess, like a ramp to the upside here at the open when it didn't open up. For me, I can't let it go past 30.25 in the dip. I think you'll have some better prices to pick up. Just going over that KXI, and it looks like the roll is on in that name. And Qualcomm headed towards that 142, looking for my dip buy in Qualcomm. But first things first, can we hold 30.25 on XPeng?
I don't know. I just went more long on XPev right there. Big position now at $30.40. So, yeah, good little long here as we just continue to watch this thing make moves. Our actual average price now is 58. So we'll wait to see. And I'm with you, Neil. If it does break down below that 30.25, we'll flash out of that one pretty quickly. Okay, here we go, guys. Palantir, we already did it, man. This is a Superman type of trade already. Palantir long at 10.95 and out. And here we go. Now we go longer on Palantir, baby. Boom! A big win for us on this side. Wow. Greg, Palantir, ripping. Let's go, guys. XPEV, hello.
Yeah, there goes
Everything
XPeng,
going,
guys.
We
all,
are monstrous.
all the way to 31,
Boom.
through 31 in XPeng, so it does hold that 30.25. That's what we're looking for. You're going to see busy with some executions in there as we're dip buying, getting out in front of 31. If we continue this push, we're all over it. Qualcomm just dipped towards that 142. So first dip buy on that name looks pretty good. And there goes XPEV. I said 32.50 is the first price I would consider shorting it. I feel like we could get there a heck of a lot faster than anticipated. But yesterday, NIO was leading the pack. Today it was XPeng. That's exactly what you're seeing. I do have to go monitor Qualcomm, of course. Let's not ignore this strong name. It does look like the bounce on. No, it did not just go to 145 while I was in the money. That's just a dark pool print. It's trying to turn right here at 142. I have 142.59, not the greatest entry price, not that close to my target. So I have to treat this very carefully. 144.50 to 145, I think, would be a good bounce back to the upside. Brendan, what's up, buddy?
Just watching Nikola here, guys. Nikola up 3.5%, a little bit of volume coming in. 19, big time level here. GM CEO coming out this morning saying no deal yet, but talks are continuing and they're hopeful for a deal for Nikola, guys.
Oh, good job. Well, I mean, yeah, hopefully. Oh, good. I'm a big Nikola shareholder, too. Look at XPEV, guys. That's why you're seeing all those graphics. It's a big hitter right now. We take out the big stick for that. We told you we were huge on this stock, and we are. 935, goal met. It is a done day already. The cows are already coming through, guys. Palantir already monstrous as well. I don't know what happened to this stock, though. We were cruising at 11.20, 11.30. We got out, and then all of a sudden, one candle down to the downside there, but $1.70 in the money. Look at this out right there on XPEV. We just keep on going upside right now, guys. This has been a monster day. Thank you for joining us. We are not even close to being done, but the money's come in. I made more money already today than I did yesterday, and yesterday was insane. So look, XPEV, boom, another reload down here at $30. Just taking this to the high side. We don't short this stock. No way, guys. This stock just motors to 32 and change. More than a $2 winner on this name. I hope you have it. I don't even know what NIO's doing. I'll go back over there. But right now,
it
XPEV,
doesn't matter
guys,
what NIO's doing.
Champion.
NIO was not strong as XPEV was this morning. But guess what else is looking strong? Qualcomm, 137, 142. Turn on a dime, 141.75. We're now in the money in this as well, about $1.75. I talked about 144.50 for a bounce little target there. I'm not going to stare a gift horse in the mouth. If it gives me that $2, I'm going to go ahead and take it. A bit of a turn there on XPeng, and look, I'm not shorting this one. It's entirely too quick. I talked about a time horizon for shorting it as well later on in the session. I mean, if we're going to already go $2 on this name, it was a dip that held 325. I'm not shorting it, like I said, just yet. We might even think about dip buying to 31. Brennan, what's up?
Yeah, the whole group going here. Lee Auto, I should say. Another one, almost 10% here, $28. We're in all-time high territory for Lee Auto as well, guys.
Sorry, I didn't have my earpiece in. That's why I couldn't hear Brendan there. So we'll put that in right now. And yeah, look, I have to basically just start looking at something else now because we just crushed this stock, Palantir. We crushed it, and then we absolutely destroyed XPEV, man. Like some of these outs were just ridiculous. Obviously, I wish we still had them. My style is to take big shares and then scalp them out for these wins. So there you go, guys. I mean, what a big day. Congratulations to everybody on that. And it's just been a monster there. We can check back in some of these weed names. We don't have anything on that. KXIN, we got out of that one real quick as soon as that broke. So again, this was nothing. We took a shot at this. I told you it's 50 cents one way or the other. Believe me, if I had a lot of shares on here, I wouldn't be super happy with the way XPEV went and Palantir. So Palantir just actually faded back down. So we've got to watch out for this one, guys.
And I'll take you over to, I do have one short position on. It is that KXI. And I was waiting for it to break that 485. It did. I got 82, sorry. Checked some out here at 46, sorry, at 60 for a 20-cent win. A few more shares out in front of 450. Remember, there was that double bottom that started this whole strong push to the top. That was at 420. I'll definitely take shares off in front of it. Do not ignore levels like that on a name which is relatively strong and doing volume to the upside like that in the pre-market. So take some profit at 420. Be very, very happy with that return. Look, I mean, I don't know where XPeng is going to go. At this point, you start thinking about if you can't even buy a dip confidently, it doesn't even give me the shot to get anywhere near to that 31 area that I would have liked. I mean, obviously, it's well gone from there. Let's talk about things like holding 32.50 obviously would be a psychological level. 35,
Holy
which seems
crap.
crazy, certainly feels like it's going to come into play at some point today. So let's think about those levels there. Qualcomm, I really only wanted to dip buy for a couple of bucks. I think there's breakout trades that you can take on their own in Qualcomm. It'll be a little bit different from some of these other trades. You're buying a dip. I think it'll run into some resistance at 145.50, and maybe sideways action gets you another buying opportunity. For now, we are in the money, about $1.70 in Qualcomm, looking for 2, and then looking for a re-entry, guys.
Okay, yeah, we're trying to look at Bitcoin here, but I mean, XPEV is $2 in the money, and Palantir is just getting even higher right now, so good trade. I did get a little nervous on that drop, so we did drop some at 11.10 there. We gave this to you at 95. I told you 111.05 was the go, and this was a big position, big shares right there at 11.05. That's why you see me going crazy to the upside there. We are, again, we're bigger than we even were yesterday here. XPEV just continues to go to the high side right now. We only have on less than 10% of this. I wish we had more, but we don't. So XPEV just going nuts right now. And so is Palantir going high side. That's 10 cents in the money. Let's check out our favorite stock, though, AMD. Check this out for Rob, $83. So AMD does come back down. Lots to look at today. What's up, Beep?
I just saw this Datadog. Some of the software names and also cloud names showing some strength early on here. DDOG up 6.25% here. Just went from 103 to 104. A little thinly traded, but on the move as well, guys.
We did want to be fading one particular name in the cannabis space. Hopefully you guys were paying attention. We're looking at ACB for a short trade. Now, obviously, things got a little bit busy at the open with some bigger moves and bigger fish to fry. But ACB is sliding back in, giving a bunch of that breakout back this morning. I'm looking at this $5 area. Obviously, there was a shot here when it rolled over at 520. The next leg will be like 5 to 510. I think you can have a bit of an entry point if there is going to be a continued fall. Just watch out for some of the tech names. We just bounced back above 1,200, headed towards that high that Arun likes for a breakout. So if you haven't been following some of the tech names, could get a break there. Watching Qualcomm in particular, which I'm still long at 142.60. I want a couple of bucks off that. If we continue higher, should be easy peasy to get it.
Yeah. Everything. Look at Palantir, guys. Up to 28, up to 30. Like, I'm hella long this stock, sub 10. So, Greg, this is a good stock for us right now, my friend. I keep yelling to Greg because we both put this on below 10 and a little bit above 10 as well. So, good little trade here happening for Palantir, guys. We're still long at 11.07 on this name. So, we're watching everything right here. I think we might as well just get some out here at 32 if we can. Why not? There we go. Let's go here. Palantir just keeps on ripping, man. I don't know, Brendan, is there news on Palantir today? I mean, up 6%, just going absolutely nuts, man. Well, our big long was 11.05. It's still going.
Yeah, I don't know if if Brendan has anything, definitely he's going to come back to us. I just have to go over to Qualcomm here because you got to watch. I'm trying to get to 144.50. That's exactly the top end of the range, which is failing to break. You see this consolidation and moving higher? Yeah, I'm canceling that offer. If we're going to go sideways and hold this higher low $1 in the money, how about hang on to the trade, put a higher target in. If I think there's going to be resistance at 145.50, at 146, let's see if we can get a couple extra bucks out of it, especially with the market going in our favor. So a bit of an adjustment real time long in this Qualcomm bottom pick. I like 42 and 37. It's 42 where the turn is happening. There goes VWAP right now. So a couple of dollars in the money on Qualcomm. Love this one to the upside. Let's see if we can get about 3, maybe 3.5. Brendan, what's up?
Yeah, not seeing anything on Palantir, guys. Next Thursday, earnings for Palantir, the 12th. So we'll remember that. Jinko Solar here, another one. 15%. Remember, this thing just went absolutely crazy about 3 weeks ago and has come back into the $60 level. But 15% for JKS, guys.
Yeah, don't worry. Well, I won't forget that Palantir earnings number, but thank you so much for that one, Brendan. Yeah, okay. So that's good. I mean, when stocks are doing this on basically no news, that's a great sign here for Palantir. I may actually get out of some. I mean, $9 up to $11.50, pretty impressive. I think we'll do that. We didn't look at DraftKings. I mean, I still have that XPEV. It's a small 10%. I'm thinking about just getting out right now because it's already making its move. DraftKings, we talked about the move early. That would probably happen, and that's exactly what did happen. 41.50, and then I said the intraday moves on DraftKings aren't that great. So you're seeing that right now. It just kind of does this and does nothing. So now we'll have to wait again on DraftKings. It's not moving enough for me to do anything about it right now, so we'll pass on DraftKings for now. XPEV, just to give you a little bit of a look, that break was 31.50 to the downside. We have less than 10%. It's like 7% left of our trade, so we'll wait on that one. But, I mean, we're already monstrous on it. I think we'll just give it back to down here, the consolidation, just in case. I mean, I don't know. does it want to go more than 16%? I don't know. We'll see. But if it keeps going upside, then that's what we have on board. I'm going to try to find some more for you guys. Alibaba. There
Guys,
goes
I want to go to this Altus midstream ALTM that Brendan was mentioning here. It's very, very thinly traded. It made a spike into the open, but once volume came in, it was downside volume. So this thing started to get sold off here. Now, look, obviously they had a good quarterly profit. Up 75% is a huge number. I almost said ridiculous, but you know, every company is different here. I just want to note the fact that when selling comes in on that kind of volume after a parabolic move up, you got to think about testing the weakness. I'm looking at 18.50 to 19, and I know it's a cheaper stock. It's not the most expensive in the world, but think about a bigger range here. You're probably out of 50 cents to $1 before you have any inkling that you're wrong. So any short I take at like 18.50 or so, I really am giving it quite some room, because I think 16 would be that target to the downside if you got the short. So 2.5, worth it if it pops up. I'm going to look to fade this one, ALTM. Brendan, what's up?
Just reading into this, but pharmaceutical company here, Bluebird Pharmaceuticals, big move down, 22%. Just about to make a day low there, $45. They had a sickle cell anemia treatment they were working on that failed, it looks like, in a late stage trial. So watch blue on the NASDAQ, guys.
Never, yeah, I don't know. It's obviously bad news. You got to look to fade some names like that, but never good when something like that does fail, like a drug trial. So, yeah, it kind of stinks. I just want to get back over to XPeng. Of course, you guys have seen this one. We're looking at 31, now watching 31, 40, 50, VWAP try to hold here. You know, I'm not going to hold it back through that 31 price. I would have loved that dip buy strong on the way up. When you already had the parabolic move, it's like one of those, it either holds VWAP to get to a higher high, or if it breaks 31, I do feel like the dip is probably heading closer towards 30. So I'm going to trail out of this one. It'll only be a buck for the rest. I know the rest of it looked pretty good here at the top. But at that point, I think we have bigger fish to fry, or better prices to pick up. So I'm going to put a trail in below VWAP, not at. I don't like stops that are at VWAP. It just feels like too obvious of a level, and you'll get wicked out.
Okay, Qualcomm, 145.50 or so. I like that long if we can break it back above it. So let's get ready to go. Qualcomm long, 145.50 on a break. If we can get that, that's good. Wow, Palantir, guys, 41 cents now in the money. Valeria, I know you love some Palantir. This stock is going nuts right now, up to 40, up to 11.50. We're hella long at 11.05. It doesn't get much better than that, guys. Palantir just going nuts right now, and we are so happy to have that. My eyes are looking everywhere as we're trying to get some new trades for you. I like that Qualcomm. And wow, guys, 42 cents in the money, Palantir up to 11.50. That's a hell yeah, and that's your chicken dinner winner today. We make more money on XPEV, but who cares? We've given this one to you guys. Palantir, we're 2 for 2 today. Oh, we have a loss on Cation. 2 for 3. Palantir just killing it though, guys. What's up, Brendan?
We're still heading northbound here on this Qualcomm, but watch out. This is that level we talked about, pre-market bottoms, 145.60. I'm holding this long. I think if we break in here, we do have that target range of the pre-market range. If it fails, I'll trail out of it at that 60 price. Otherwise, you're looking for a clean break, and we talked about 150 in the pre-market. Well, I'll be damned if we're not getting there pretty quick. Brendan, what's up?
Just looking at Expedia here. We mentioned it briefly in the pre-market there. 8% now for Expedia. Actually posted better than expected earnings. Aftermarket, you can see big move up to 104. We're at 106.50 now for Expedia, guys.
All right, I'm just going to post this Palantir trade up on Twitter now. I mean, it's been a big one for us today. And yeah, we're super happy. 11.50, like I'm super excited just for everybody that owns this stock right now. Big move upside. Remember, cybersecurity and whatnot, Peter Thiel. So there's lots about this company that we like. And this is just going to be another one here. Palantir just ripping to the high side right now as we look to get out. There's my Qualcomm. Another position long, guys. Let's see if we can't floss this one off as well. Qualcomm, new position long. Already in the money, 25 cents.
Yeah, I just think if it can chew through this like a $1 to $1.50 pre-market chop range, I mean, this thing's going to test that 150. Just been entirely too strong. We're getting a bit of a bounce there in XPeng, XPEV. You know what? Either one works. It doesn't matter which one we say. It's XPEV. Cation here, KXIM. We talked about the only way that I was going to be shorting this name given its relative strength. It is trying to round down towards that 420. A bit of a double bottom there in the pre-market. That's why I'm taking some shares off for the 45-cent win. Look, if you can stare that in the face and you know support down there, why not do it? I will short a pop into about 470, 480 where we had it before, and then see if we run to that bottom. If we make another low, hold a higher low a couple of times off that 420, I'll walk away from that short because maybe this one wants to take another run at that high if you can do that.
Okay, we floss it off, guys. Another one here. Big time win again. 145.60 up to 146.20 there. Quick 80 cents there on Qualcomm. And still moving, guys. You still have a third of this, 2/3 of this position on as we're just making moves, guys, today. Yes, sir. Exploding the money. We're just, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell everybody else's positions, but hopefully you guys have this. Palantir just keeps on going, Valeria, all the way up. 11.60. We're long down here at 10.95, 11.05. I don't even have time to tweet this out. We're still going crazy, and we're watching out for Qualcomm as it just ticks high there. We did have some resistance at 147, so I think let's get some out 146.50 and then hold the last third for a big win. We'll take out $1 right now on Qualcomm. We just took out 75 cents. We'll take out $1 if it gets to 146.50 and then hold the last one for the ride.
Yeah, I just trailed my Qualcomm here. Look, I talked about that range. We're in that pre-market range now. So if it breaks and holds below that 145.50, give it a few extra pennies there from that even dollar. I'll just trail out of it, try to lock in just under a couple of bucks here on that Qualcomm. It's been a fantastic morning, obviously. Let's throw a disco ball up there because I feel like we never use that one enough. I do want to jump back over to ACB. Obviously, you're not going to catch every single trade, and thankfully did not force the action in ACB shorting. Yeah, we're going to miss some good levels in the pre-market. Look at this bounce here, guys. Just made a 10% recovery. Good news is we're right back to what was a bit of resistance all pre-market long, 540 to 550. If we get a roll over there, looks like we'll get the short that we probably preferred at about 8 o'clock if we'd had it in ACB. This is the one I'm going to pick on, at least for a short trade. And XPeng back towards that 32.50 area, so back in the money a couple of bucks there. 33, actually higher than 33 is the current high of the day, so well on its way to 35 if it can get there. Crazy, crazy move.
Yeah, we're on the way to XPEV right now. We still got that long. There's Qualcomm. What a banger that was. We just took out another $1 on that name. Qualcomm just continues to be the name that everybody wants it to be. It's just been fantastic. Upside Qualcomm, man, and we are just crushing these names today, guys. Everything, Qualcomm, Palantir, and XPEV, the big ones. Cation was a very, very small hit. We talked about that already. Now it's embarrassingly small compared to what we've done to these other names. What's up, B?
DocuSign, another one to have a look at here. Just saw this one, 4% to the upside, 245. This thing has a huge range today, almost $10 range on DocuSign. Not seeing anything in the way of news on this, but big move for DocuSign, guys.
Well, I mean, that's sort of one of those names that if you're going to think about safe plays, everyone's completely ignoring. I get the election's big news, but everyone's sort of being completely ignoring the fact that you see further lockdowns. The stay-at-home play is definitely going to be there. And then DocuSign plays right into that. I think that's why you're seeing a bit of a gap to the upside. I mean, XPEV, there it goes back again. Qualcomm now in the money, $3. I'm looking at. I mean, it's crazy. I actually had the first position against me, and believe it or not, it's ACB, and I talked about fading this. And we'll see what happens here, but I picked some up. It looked like it was rolling over, so 525. It's a little bit away from that 550 level, so I do have to be careful how much I do dig in at this price level. I should be a little bit more patient, either wait for it to break down below 520 or let it test higher and then roll over and catch it on the way down. No need to force the trade, not on a day like today when it's already working so great.
Oh, man, Microsoft just, I mean, all of these stocks are just blowing, like, unbelievable, man. Like, we're long Microsoft, low 200s. We talked about that just even a couple days ago, man. So what a big trade this has been, up to 223. Let's check out the daily charts. I mean, what are the all-time highs here for Microsoft? 232. I don't know if we get to that in the next couple days, but wow, we are breaking through this, 225. So that's kind of what we're waiting for, is this 225. I don't want to catch things. Like, I don't want to just keep going long like we already have. You can see the longs that we have in right now. So we're already long the market, but Microsoft has been just a jamming stock to the upside right there. And I want to do, Valeria just went to go refill the coffee. I feel like it's getting cold in here again. Qualcomm making moves to the upside once again, man. We dumped out half there, and then another, a third. Now we still have a third. We talked about trying to hold on to these things just a little bit longer, but Qualcomm still going, AMD still going, like everything, man. What about CGC? We tried to take that 20 break, but it didn't happen there. I don't know what happened. I don't know if we don't have enough shortable shares. If that's true, we should be able to go over to Canada, and you can trade this weed.to.
Yeah, that's exactly. I checked out. I think it was like Tilray. We had to pay for shorts as well.
Yeah.
But it's an advantage we have being able to trade in Toronto to get some locates if they're not there. I was about to get into this ALTM, but I'm trying to be picky. This stock has, like, at times, you see it right here, like a 30-cent spread. So not the easiest for entry points on an $18 name. I was trying to get some around that $18.50 price, but as much as it says it ticked up here, there were no bids up at those prices. You would have been shorting, the high 18s and low 17s if you wanted to be taking it, guys. XPeng just came back and trailed me out. I talked about putting a trailing stop in there. It broke VWAP, broke this low. So last exit will be at 31. It looks like 31.25 or so we'll be getting out of this. We had buying the dip all the way back in front of 30.25. 31.25 is my last out. So it's been a wild ride in XPeng. Maybe it's not done. Let's see what happens if it tests back down towards that opening range pullback. That was like 30.50 held, 30.25 was the level I was watching.
Yeah. XPEV nuts. And we'll be trading a hell of a lot more of that one as we see exactly the kind of damage that you can do on XPEV. I had no idea that it was going to move like that. I've watched the last couple of days going absolutely crazy. I mean, here's Qualcomm. I know Neil has it as well, but we'll just keep on hitting the catapult for this one. What a great stock. I talked about it being like Tupperware, hog, everything like that. They come in with a blowout quarter. We let it settle down, and then your boy just absolutely cowbells that one, and we take a nice little trade for that one. That is Qualcomm. But Brendan always has more names. What's up, man?
Yeah, some of the other semiconductors being dragged along with this. Skyworks here, SWKS, just taking out that high as well, that pre-market high there, 144.25, on decent volume, worth mentioning. So the entire semiconductor group, guys, leading tech stocks so far.
And talk about being patient, and thank goodness I'm being patient on ACB. I'm not even sure I want to add to that one. I'm looking over. I do have Qualcomm up here because I was just adjusting my stop. No longer going to be trailing it to 144.50. Obviously, that's a little crazy. You can do like, dollar trail, 50-cent trail. I tend to use levels for trails here, just to track my results here. So I'm going to use like a 146, just underneath this 146.50 area, between that and 146 even. It looks like it is breaking towards 150. I'm not holding it through that price. It's psychological level, obviously. If it turns around anywhere near 149, 149.50, I'll certainly take that one off. But let's just see how far it can go. It's been ridiculously strong. As has ACB, which was not what I was exactly anticipating here, but you are getting a strong bounce up. I'm not even adding to this position, even though I left myself some room to do so. Not going to happen. Started it too early at 525 when I was watching a 550 level. I'm just going to take the hit and run if it breaks 550 to the upside. Clearly wrong about shorting into ACB strength, and you're going to see it blow through the top here. It gets a couple of pennies above 550, and I'm just going to get out. If this level somehow were to hold, then I would think about getting in.
What's up, Beep?
Apps, Digital Turbine here. We talked about this one. I believe it was Friday, I want to say. This day here, they had earnings, but it's just been straight higher since then. So APPS again today, 8.7%. Another software name having quite the day, guys.
All right, Palantir. Again, now I'm holding a small amount, but it just made a huge high of 1170 there, up 9%. Just loving this name, obviously, today. So we're gonna watch out for that. Just to give you a Qualcomm, I'm not getting out of this thing until 146. So I've already, decided that. And again, if it gets to 150, great. We probably will get out at that point, but we are long 145. XPEV. I know Neil was talking about getting out VWAP, or I'm not sure where you got out, maybe 31?
I let it break VWAP on me there, about like 10 cents or so.
Okay, yeah, so that's it. So I'm just gonna give it basically to the bottom of these wicks down here, 31.30 or so. We'll wait for that, and then if that happens, we'll get out of XPEV. But right now, $2 plus, and still going higher right now. And there it is. I was gonna say, you could just maybe even take that break right now at 148 if you wanted to add to your Qualcomm position. If you're not in it right now, I'm in at 145 here, so this is a pretty good trade so far to the high side. I'm just really upset that we haven't done much on Bitcoin today. That's GBTC. It's so hard to trade this thing and talk about everything. It's just been up. We were loaded up down here, and then we got too nervous and had to dump it. But GBTC, that's Bitcoin. Shout out to Jeff Mendel, good friend of ours, the VP over there at OTC Markets. Hopefully he's going to come on. Oh, that reminds me, guys. He'll hopefully be coming on for this one. Is this the right one? Did I just push? No? Okay, coming up number one. No, I want the one for our recordings. You guys have that one? Let's hit that if you can. Today at 1 o'clock, we're going live with more. Here we go, with our market wisdom coming up. And that last one, 5, Hertz delisting. That's what we're going to talk hopefully about too with the VP of OTC Markets. So catch us live, 1 p.m. It's only going to be a 5 or 10 minute segment, as are every single one of those. do this one thing to improve trading profits? Hey, I got a good one for you. How about watch Trader TV live, guys?
Well, that goes without saying, but it's obviously fantastic advice for everyone there.
Welcome.
Make sure you check this out because you don't always get experts live on YouTube for you, and we're going to have that, guys. KXIN, I talked about this. If it gets to 420, you got to take some off what was the support level in the pre-market, and it did ramp up. It got another 20% move when it bounced here. That's why you'll see some profit taking down there for about a 45-cent win. It's around that 10%. I'm going to hold the rest. If it breaks 420, I think we're headed right down to this level, like a 365 to 370. And then we can think about almost getting a dollar win on the last 20% of our position here. Now, obviously, if it pulls back up, there's some shorts that can be had in the 60 to 70 range using the same support levels. I wouldn't take that to high a day. I'd be getting out around that 485, which was the breakdown price on KXIN. Looks like I got shook on XPEV as it's back up through 32. Yeah, can't seem to stop that one. Just keeps on going to the upside. Qualcomm, on the other hand, I'm going to keep trailing it up here. It just broke 148 and is holding higher. 146.50. I'm not going to give it that much room back into the downside anymore. I'll probably look at this 147, you look at it right before it rolled over at the open. That was a nice little price. So 147. We'll lock in about $4 to $4.50 on this trade. Otherwise, we're getting out in front of 150, and wowzers if it breaks that.
Yeah, okay. So for XPEV, I was just looking. I'm thinking this is a decent spot, man. If we can get 32.55, we'll probably do that. So that's XPEV for 32.5. I'm wondering actually what's happening right now in a lot of these different markets. So why not throw it over to Brendan at the big screen with coincidentally a segment called Happening Now.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at North American markets. Feel like this has been frozen since yesterday because it looks very similar to what we were talking about yesterday. You can see NASDAQ in charge once again, 2+% here to the upside for tech stocks today. The 100, 2.5%. Nice look. Dow Jones, 1.5%. S&P 500, about 1.8% at this point. So again, 2 days in a row, that post-election rally we were talking about extending. Even the Russell, we saw this one kind of struggling yesterday to even get back to break even, but up nicely today, 1.6%. Here in Toronto, 1.6% for the TSX. Down in Brazil, about 1.5% for the Bovespa, if you're following along in Brazil. Let's go over to a few things on the watch list. If you haven't signed up, guys, absolutely free to grab our watch list. Ask Valeria. She'll help you out. ALTM here, Altus Midstream, formerly a SPAC, posted better than expected results. We're still kind of stuck in this range. It's been between 17 and 18 for about an hour now. Not really doing much. We touched 2025 at the top. I don't really know what to do with this. It's kind of thinly traded. If it does get anywhere close to 22, 23, there's a little bit of resistance. But until we kind of break down below this 17, maybe come back up, retest it, and then look for a short. Not much to do on ALTM, I think. But nice mover today on huge volume. AMD on the watch list again today after a big move yesterday following the Goldman Sachs upgrade. This thing got flushed at the open. So a little bit of weakness today in AMD versus some of the other ones we were talking about. But look at this now, working its way back towards that 83.5. One more real quick and then we'll get back to it. HBI Hanesbrands earnings were good. It was the guidance was bad. We're looking to break day lows here. Monster volume on HBI, guys. Back to you.
Speaking of monster volume and crazy action, HOFV, this also on our watch list, Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. Wowzers just halted up here. Volatility halted open in 2, maybe 3 minutes or so. I'll get to Qualcomm in a second. That just trailed me out. But look, some levels to watch. I didn't think this would come into play. 713 if we get there. As with any one of these parabolic moves, once we've halted to the upside, it has to hold lower than one of the previous halt prices or get a downward halt. This could be the first of many. Do be very, very careful holding through a halt. It just went almost 100% to the upside before this first halt. And watch out at 712. If it gets past there, we'll revise some of those levels for you in real time. But a couple of minutes till that open. Qualcomm, for me, we're going to go with doing some backflips on this trade. I forget when I mentioned this yesterday, but one of the things you got to think about is, and ignore this wick, did not trade down. There's just a dark pool, guys. If you do find a situation where your position looks much stronger than you anticipated it being, either the market is in your favor or the level of consolidation is favoring you in a bullish sense, like it was here at 144.50, just hang on to your trade. Think about a trailing stop. I allowed it to go a little further than I was anticipating. I thought maybe we'd get like a $3 to $3.50 win there. On the last of my shares, I'll take about $5. So you extend it a little bit. I think maybe we can still test 150. Big level for Qualcomm. I like dip buys. It was 142 and 137. Whichever one of those was going to be the turn, that's where we'd look to pick it up on the way up. You give up about 70 cents or to $1 doing it that way, but at least you know it's bouncing off of the level you're looking at, as opposed to just standing in front of the sword. And then what if it was 137 that was the bottom? Then I'm out $5.
Yeah, so we're doing a little opposite there. We're gonna hold to see if we can get to 150, but Neil had a better price, so that makes sense. You got to capture your profits. We're gonna give it down. What did I give it to? 147.12 or so. So we got to break back down through 147. So right now, still a $3 winner here. And I agree, man. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth when you do have it. But right now, we're monstrous in everything. I wish I had that attitude for Palantir, because I got most of them out here for like about a 20-30 cent win before ripping to the high side. And I just have been tweeting out like how incredible this move has been. And I'm wondering if we even take it again on an 1170 break. I'm thinking small. Let's try it on an 1170 break small here. Qualcomm, it just still bouncing, man. It's not really doing too much, 148 and change. I still think we can test this 150, but we got to watch out for the NASDAQ making moves now. So if this comes back down, then yeah, we will get hit out on our Qualcomm trade. So that's what's moving right now. Microsoft continues to go to the high side. Let's check in on the best of breed here. One of my investments that we have, I checked. The last purchase on this was not, okay, good. I was gonna say the last purchase on this was $94. So really happy with the action on JP Morgan today. Little bit nervous about banks though, guys, under this new regime.
Yeah, and HOFV does open lower than this $6 level. Well, $5.85 technically here was around that halt price. And no locates for me, so I mean that would be a condition to test that short in front of that fresh high. Obviously, you know, one level that you'd be looking at for target would be down around the first consolidation point, 440. It might get there, but look, I can't trade. I can just let you know what I'm watching here. I think you'd be taking that trade 40s to 50s if you got it. It's a hard stop. You don't let it break back up through that high. That's a little bit reckless to me. I didn't actually see a huge short interest on this name coming in at 2%, but the free float, 4.27 million shares. Brendan, wow, that's pretty small.
It is teeny tiny, not unlike this one. Tesla, guys, not teeny tiny. Just saw this headline coming across. They're seeking to get permission from China's regulator to produce sport utility vehicles in China. So I haven't talked about Tesla yet, but 3.8% today. Just made a day high on that one, guys.
We had that question yesterday about it going to 500, and I said, hell yeah. I don't know if that's going to push it or not, but watch out. Your Tesla positions, always good ones there. We believe in Elon Musk, and if you do that, you've been a very, very rich individual if you've done that from here on out. So I have complete faith in Elon to get something done there with the government. He knows how to talk and get that done. So Elon Musk for the win once again, Neil, and Tesla. I mean, that stock is amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and I think you know, it sort of goes without saying. You see the rest of the EV names be a little bit crazier. You know, Tesla's already done this. I've been there, done that. I want to get to Haynes, and look, you're gonna on a day like today. You guys follow along on the watch list. Fantastic opportunity. We tried to cover everything we could. Doesn't mean we'll get every single trade. I only have 4 names traded today, and HBI. I really wanted to take Haynes to the short side. Obviously, you're going to see it continue to flush here. Sometimes you do just sell low and buy back even lower in a short sell. You don't guide lower in this environment and expect not to get beaten up. Haynes is, however, you know, testing and having broken through what could have been the first support level down at about 1370. You would certainly think that here at 13, you know, last time, go back into July earnings, it was a bit of a pop through there. So if 13 can hold, maybe you want to think about a bottom pick. If 13 breaks, I mean, goodness, that could get really ugly for Haynes brands. It is short sell restricted, so do be careful. HOFE, like I said, I would have taken a shot if we had the locates. There you go. It did test through the high, so even though it looks good, I would have been stopped out because I would have had my rule to be out at 585, and I would have lost 40 cents if I took it. You'd be in the money 80 cents if you just decided to hold blindly. It is what it is. Watch out for consolidation, possibly at 440. I love it when these things have some halts and calm down. Usually you can get some better trades that you can leverage up a little bit more on when liquidity comes in. Brendan, what's up?
So KKR, investment firm and fund operator, reported earnings that were better than expected. as well, a number of companies that they are invested in reported earnings that were better than expected. There was also Mediaset, which trades over in Milan, in Italy. There were some rumors floating around that they were looking to maybe take out Mediaset. They've come out and denied that, but big move here today for KKR, 5.7%, just straight higher today, guys.
Good name there, yeah, KKR, one to watch out for moving forward. Yeah, and again, it just depends on what sort of investment situation you're trying to get. Oh, I just canceled my Palantir order, did not mean to do that. I put one in to go in for 1170 here, so let's get some of these out about 68, 69, that's what we're thinking about, and then re-engage in another long if it does come through at about 1171 or so on that break. We do like that. I was gonna put some more work in on JP Morgan because I do like that stock, not just because it's my stock, but also because it's been a nice little move higher here. WFC for return-wise might be a little bit better because it's been beat up so much, but JP Morgan right now just chopping around the top. I'm thinking about shorting through 102.30. I'm going to go find out a little bit more about that.
Yeah, and we'll go with, I don't know, line them up, knock them dead here on KXIN. It does continue to grind lower. Look, it's going to seem like it's bouncing off this pre-market level, just a dark pool overnight dumping. And it's not that it doesn't matter. There was some consolidation down here in the 80s. That's the top end of that range here. Volume picked up. Obviously, right at 7 o'clock, it does. It was at 7. This is the range I'm looking for. You can actually see I do have a bid sitting down here to collect the last exit. If it does turn off $4, you can't ignore a psychological level like that. I'll probably try to get out before it busts 410. I got to be happy with if I can get 70 to 75 pennies on a $40 stock, $4.80 stock. I'm not gonna look that gift horse in the mouth. I'll just take it. Brennan, what's up?
There was news on this one yesterday. Very, very small therapeutics company, Aptivo, $54 million market cap there for this one. APVO just popping up once again today. This thing just ripped $2 in a straight line. If you remember, this thing was just straight higher for the past 2 sessions on positive trial data for one of their treatments that they're working on. Going to double check on anything today, but back to 17 here for APVO.
I mean, the one thing I always look for on these day 2 moves is does it hold a lower than the previous high? And for now, it's looking like it's trying to. I mean, it busted through the pre-market high, which I think is a bit of a false trade for those that are looking to fade it. You always, if there's a level right above that was yesterday's top, allow it to fail there. So it looks like it just broke the back of a few shorters, and that's why it can maybe come back in from here. You got to make sure we have some locates on it, but it is that $19 area, I think, at the top yesterday, or 18 and change, like 1866, 19, whichever you want to use here. That's going to be the level to watch. It already made one test at the high, so I wouldn't be too freaky. I wouldn't be too frisky here at these levels, but I definitely like it a heck of a lot better if it takes another run, and then we can get like an 18 short off that 1865. Just to go back over to NEO, it's not to ignore the stock. But we gave you all the reasons why XPeng looked like it was the one to trade today. Man, that's choppy on the 1 minute. But all that said, it is still an upward trend in NEO. You're seeing it put in some lower highs here, some higher lows. Sorry. If 40 even remains the level to watch for me on NIO, I think if it breaks through there, you're going to break some backs. I'll probably, if it happens at like lunchtime or 11 o'clock, look to be shorting off of 40 if we're still testing that level. Just one of those scalp trades in front. But for now, 40 is a key price. It's grinding to the upside, not nearly as good as XPeng, however.
Yeah, XPeng, I'm debating getting out of this one. So our Qualcomm does come out there, and a good out it was, man. We got out perfectly at 147.20. So that was a great out there, celebrating that $2.50 win or so. So that was a good one to the downside. Now you're seeing Qualcomm crack, and you're also seeing the market crack a little bit here. I mean, not huge, but as Qualcomm goes, we told you it was going to be pegged to the market. So market makes a high, Qualcomm makes a high, we get off that. And again, feeling like Superman with that out. It's been such a great day, guys. We are back into Palantir through 70. It looks like it stopped, so I'm not going to give this one much to go. This is a very, very light position. If we break down below 60, we gone. What's up, Beep?
Hey guys, let's get a few more symbols to have a look at so far this morning. Upgrades on this side, downgrades over there. Biogen, big mover yesterday, fading that a little bit on some news. Microsoft, PayPal, and Lyft. There was a positive note on the space in general after the results of the Proposition 22 in California, but Lyft on the board here. Bigger move, 0.9%. Five below, interesting look. Positive today, even with the downgrade. Wendy's and Zynga down there getting crushed after earnings. So we'll shift over here and have a look at Microsoft upgraded today. We're right at the top end of this last little test of 224, 225 up here. So let's see what happens for Microsoft, up 3.3% today. For MSFT on an upgrade. Wendy's did gap higher even with the downgrade, but fading that, we're consolidating around 22. Might break downside. This was 21.75 at the close yesterday, guys. Back over to you.
A name from a couple of days, well, a couple of days in a row, making a little bit of money shorting SolarEdge. You are seeing it come back up now, 10% to the upside. But let's watch out. When it did make this bottom at 190, originally the first day we talked about this 230 level. That's coming right back into play here. Obviously, the way things seem to be going, with no full mandate, it's going to be difficult to get some environmental pushes through. I think that could be weighing on some of the solar energy names here. And this one is going to be no different. So if we do stall, we're close enough. We're not quite at that 230, but if we're stalling shy of it, that was a level I liked for a rollover. I haven't taken a long in this stock yet. Obviously, today would have been a good day to do it, but 2 days in a row, it's been a good short for me. And then we're into that level 230 that I like. If it rolls over from here, I'm looking to jump into a short a couple of ways. We can either short through 225, don't love that as much, or we get one test, spike up through the current high, that's 28.27, fail to get through 230 and then catch it on the way back in. That's what I'm looking for solar energy. That's how we'll try to take it. KXIN is about to trail me out here. It's back above that $4 range, so it looks like it's trying to make a bit of a bottom on me. You see this sideways consolidation. I'll just get out if it breaks 405. There could be a future trade in this up at 450 to 470, or maybe down around that 365 area if it makes another lower low here, guys. But KXIN has been a good one. Party could be over, at least for now, to the downside on KXIN.
All right, yeah, so Palantir just goes, like, this is the thing. This is why we don't take very many shares there. Goes up, goes down. We get out at 60 on a break, and it comes right back to 66. So just be very, very careful here. If you are looking to go short on Palantir, long on Palantir, it just had a fail there. I'll try it one more time if it breaks 70, but we just did take a 5-cent hit there. What's up, Beep?
A little one from yesterday, also in the EV space. Solo here again today, 2 days in a row, 14%. Just made a day high there on decent volume, but yeah, back to back. We're trying to clear some of these levels on the daily chart for that little one, Solo, guys.
And trying to clear to the upside again goes this APVO. I almost said APOV. Look, I talked about the wanting to wait to see if this one can test a little bit higher. That's exactly what it does. So it's still grinding back up towards yesterday's top 1860s or so. Now that it's actually failed here at 18 even, if it fails to break through that even dollar, that's a nice little spot to take this one to the south side trade here, guys. But of course, as you say it doesn't quite give you that entry point. If it does come back in, you got to watch out for this 15. There was a lot of consolidation down there. It ramped up on volume. So that's your ultimate target. But I want the short in front of 18 even if I can get it. That would be the new stop on APVO, guys.
Okay, we're still watching, like, this GBTC just keeps going up, and I'm not making any money on it, so it's pretty bad. Okay, Palantir, we're back in again at 71, so we'll wait to see if this one wants to go now. We did take the mistake last time of taking that little bit of a hit, but here we go. Palantir now to the upside. We'll take a little bit off here if we can. 75 we just did, so that's a nice win. We'll watch to see now how high this one wants to go. I think it has a 12 peg in it, maybe. We'll get some out at 78 again, just so we can absorb some of that loss. There it is, 78. Did we get it? Yes, we did. Bang. There it is, a nice little trade on Palantir. Unfortunately, we did lose, we did lose on that first position on Palantir. The first time we took this break, we did get out there at 60, so that was a 10-cent hit. Now we're back in the money, 10 cents. So if you still held that, congratulations. But Palantir right now, 84s? Okay, big stock, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Palantir running. I want to say it's going to continue running, but I'm not quite believing in solar energy, and it's getting close. It just made the test that we're looking for of the high, but didn't get very far. It just broke the high of the day and went literally like 15 more pennies. And the reason why that's not enough to trigger, that's the spread. So, I mean, the spread at times is like 50 cents. It was just the spread. So a break of the high really needs to hold a bid higher. It likely needs to get to 229. 230 is definitely a big level. You're starting to see volume taper off. I think there's going to be a good short retracement in this name as long as it holds 230. That's going to be the play for me. I want to go back over to a name from yesterday. If you guys are watching Cassava Sciences, I tried shorting it. It didn't work. I lost like 5 cents, and thank goodness I would have lost $1 if I'd gotten a little bit frisky or a little bit stubborn with it. Here comes the sell on Sava. It does look like, as usual, that's coming all the way back in. If you're looking at this name, watch out for about 10-20. Just go to the daily chart here, and you're going to be able to see it's a bit of a level worth noting. If it bounces off here, maybe it's got a second wind to it. Seems like it's not going to be a go for me. Solar Edge, that's the next trade I anticipate having once we get a better test of 229 or 230, jumping into the short off that 230 level, guys.
Like I said, Palantir, I kind of caught myself there because I was like, oh, does it really have a 12 handle in it today? But yeah, it does. It's going to go up, and away. So we're long again at 71. Our initial long was $1 ago. So we're really happy, obviously, with the way that this trade has pieced itself out and continues to go upside right now for us. We went re-long again at 71. So now we're in the money another 20 cents here on our good friend PLTR. This was one of the investment plays that we had. I'm very, very excited. Not just to, I mean, obviously I'm not excited to end the show, but I think I will be getting out of some of these trades here in my own account once the show is done. Long at $9.50. We go all the way to $12 today. Good little run there on Palantir, guys. Just watch out for that. Okay, we did get out of XPEV there. Same kind of break as before, 31.20. We talked about that. And then we're out of that Qualcomm trade that has come back a little bit. So let's have a look at that at some point as well. I know there's a lot of little names that's been brought to you guys today. We do have to look at some of those, but AMD right now making some beautiful consolidation. Let me look at AMD above $83 from here.
I'm trying to find the correct one for it. I'll flush myself down the toilet. If I could have found the fail stamp, I would have thrown that up there for you guys. Yeah, there we go. ACB making the high, at least since the open. At least it's not the high of day. But I did get out of this one while we were hesitant to dig into it. It is now coming back southbound. I do feel like if we get, consolidate down here around like this 525 and view up, I'll take another crack at this one short. As I said, when things start to calm down, it was a big move up that we shorted into. And I just didn't feel comfortable digging into this one as opposed to some other trades which I like a little bit better. Speaking of which, we're getting very close to seller energy. I'll be getting into that one the second it makes a turn off at 230 with a hard stop at 230. But for now, let's get to the small cap recap with Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, let's get into small cap world. Bit of a quiet morning so far in small cap land. There was this one we were talking about, Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment. Never heard of this company, but they did a deal with Sports Illustrated for some media content. So they have a media division. They're going to do a bit of a biography docu-series, they're calling it, on the NFL. So HOFE up on that news. Look at the volume on the daily chart. Huge move up to 6. There's a bit of an area between 580 and 615. We sadly do not have locates on this today, so shorting not happening. Gave you a great long opportunity, but back consolidation if you're so inclined, all the way up to, guess what, this exact area on the daily chart, 615 down to about 580, ended up being resistance here. Volume kind of dying down a bit. It's thinly traded. Even if you don't have locates, if you're short-sided biased, worth having a look at this. You know, write the levels down. Make sure you come in tomorrow prepared if it's back around that same level. Let's go over to ACB. This was my focus today. Gave you a 540 entry there in the pre-market. Took the breakdown. Nice little consolidation here right before the open down to 490, 480 was a great opportunity. I missed that, but good reload there. 550 was tested again on that push back to the upside. So good chance to get back in on the short side. Afria as well, same story. 555 pivot in the pre-market. Ended up being resistance aftermarket here. You could have added on that spike. I was doing other things. 5.25 ended up being the bottom for Afria. So even when it is a little bit slow, you got to look a little bit harder. But there's always stuff to look at, guys. Back to you.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, and you never know what's going to come next, right? Like, for example, Palantir. I mean, we didn't think that this was going to go this high, and it does, man. Now we're up to 12. Like, unbelievable, guys. Follow us on Twitter. We made this call over there, and I put it up today, the kind of damage that we've been doing on Palantir today. Back like up through 12 now. We may need to sell some of this, like I keep saying, but just going upside, upside, upside. Let's check out GM, another name that was on our watch list. And again, you know, we talk about the watch list and how important that is. And the reason why is you really got to trade stock that have some sort of catalyst, right? Not only are they going to have a catalyst, but the catalyst is also going to provide you with volume as well, right? So you need volume to get in and out of your trades, and I think that allows for some levels to hold and allows to give you, you know, a little bit more direction on some of these trades and whatnot. So GM today, a good one. We can also look at Ford today. Much more shares done in Ford than in GM. You can actually see Ford's going the other way, man. It's going up, GM going down. I've already given you this call. Ford back down around 650. More work to be done there. ACB still up that 20%. Tilray is a name we didn't really look at yet today, other than in the pre-market when we were highlighting some of these marijuana companies. But come on, Tilray. Moving around like, I don't know, my chart's not going on this one, but Tilray moving around a lot here today. Upside, same way that Neil had that ACB. It looks like they made a move high, stopped people out, and now some of these marijuana stocks coming back down to the south side here.
Yeah, and just as you see Tilray there on Sean's chart, a little bit stronger, still above VWAP here. Different story with ACB. It's right at it. This is the sideways action I was looking for in the overall retracement, hopefully in the play. I want to see if I can get a bit of a short at the top end of this range. If we can catch something 25 to 30, sort of ease in, and then we can maybe take out the bottom. I am into solar energy now. I got 228 here. I'll give it a couple of bucks. 230 has been my hard stop the entire time here. That's the level I was watching when it first dipped down. It's the first time we're shorting in front of it. I've been shorting on the way down in this name into weakness. This time we're shorting a bit of a pop. But ACB, I'll take advantage of the sideways action. As you see, it's relatively weak, I would say, despite the ramp up that it just had at the open. But I want to try to be patient. The volume is tremendous on this one on ACB. It's kind of crazy how strong how good the volume is at 31 million shares, guys. So got to watch and tread a little bit carefully in some of these names. ACB, lots of liquidity. ALTM, I want to go back to this name. It was very sleepy when Brendan talked about it before, but it did just make an upside halt through the high of day, but immediately starting to come back. And this is usually a good sign. You're seeing it start to consolidate a little bit here. If we hold below, and look, this halt level is going to be 2040, but I'll call it like $20. That's where I'd be looking to get into a bit of a short position on this name. As long as we got the locates, we'll be locked and loaded to go. I love when they halt and then start to get better price discovery. It's a better time to be trading this if you think you're going to be shorting one of these names. And ALTM, that was my idea to short it. I didn't have any long ideas for this name. I was just waiting patiently for my shot.
Okay, and we have another idea here on NEO. I see a lot of you guys talking about it in the chat. Obviously, this is a super popular trade and a super popular position to be in, long NEO. So, you know, it's been very, very choppy today. That's why I'm not highlighting it so much as maybe you guys wanted to, because it's just I haven't been able to find anything here. You saw XPEV. XPEV is by far my number one stock. Well, Palantir's there too, but XPEV, another number one stock of mine. But look at this, guys. This 39, this could be something right here. You have VWAP at 39.05, and you have some consolidation upside at about 39. So my order is to go long now, 39. If we can get that on NEO, man, I would love that. So we're going to go long through 39. You can bottom pick. I just fear that with the NASDAQ making this kind of a move right now, that NEO needs a little bit of energy to get going to the upside right now. And we'll see if that does happen, but $39 coming in. You could also take a break downside of 38.24. It's just, I don't know if a short in NEO is what we really need to be putting on right now. Brendan, you have something for us, bud?
DraftKings, guys, just saw this positive note. Another day, another gap to the upside. Another positive note, in fact, on DraftKings this morning. So we got another gap here you can see from yesterday. However, this thing has tried this 42 a couple of times and looks to be failing. So back to the downside here. Market coming off a little bit, yes, but still 4.8% for DraftKings today.
That's my number, 42. I mean, I don't know. How could I not take this break when it happens? It's actually 42. It looks like 42.25, but double top action on DraftKings. Yeah, going to have that break when it happens. If it happens, I shouldn't say when. If it happens at some point, even if it's in the afternoon, that does look like a good level. You're just thinking about how far this might retrace. You know, obviously, if it gets back to like a 44 to 46 area, somewhere in that range, you might consider that it would slow down. Until then, I'd like to be playing it back to the upside. It looks like the break would be the first trade for me. Outside of, you get some action here, which is sideways, and ACB I did get in. You'll see that in the position board, 525. Again, my only losing stock in the day. Hopefully it will fare better. But if we can hold sort of below VWAP, put in some higher lows, maybe DraftKings, we can fade into this one in front of that 42.25, and that would be a breakout trade. But long into the breakout, as long as we can hold some higher lows here. Looks like we're doing pretty good here at 41.20. If that continues, maybe we can have either a VWAP break or a consolidation bottom pick. Brendan, what's up?
Keep getting alerts on some little teeny tiny gold stocks all morning. There's been multiple names really not doing significant volume, but big moves this morning in some of the gold miners. You can have a look at GDX, like 6% on GDX today. We're back to 41 here. This is a big area on the daily chart for GDX, the gold miner ETF, guys.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. It's literally, I mean, the exact same price that I got in last time. It's different circumstances here in ACB. Things have calmed down just a little bit. Solar energy is going to break down about $1 in the money. I'll take some out for a $2 win. Look, I'm risking a couple of bucks to my 238 level, so I'll always take some profit when it goes that much in the money for me and try and hold for a bigger one. I'm going to start working into a little bit more in ACB here because a couple of reasons. Like, one, if it just breaks like 530, I can always cover a bunch of it for like a 5-cent stop and then allow it to test higher. Also, if it breaks down at 515, I think the floodgates open up to like a 5 even area. So I like the risk reward now that we have a bit of a range to play in ACB. It might have been a mistake to jump into it on the way up. Better to catch things when they're consolidating on a little downward move here if you want to be short selling in ACB, in Aurora, or any of the cannabis names.
Yeah, we love those cannabis names, and yeah, I'm still long a lot of those names in my own portfolio, so not a great one. Wow, look at PayPal, guys. Another one of those calls that we've had for a long-term investment, and I hope you guys pick some up in the 170s there after that report. Yeah, like 170 PayPal. Like, give me a break. Now we're back up to 201. Look, a lot of these stocks just chop, not doing a whole hell of a lot. The only trade that I liked there was that NEO, so let's just check back in it. I'm not in NEO. Let's check back in XPEV actually quickly here. 3088, that was a good out. You know, we hammered this long downside. Now we're just trying to see really no consolidation in this. Go back over to NEO. Okay, here we go. NEO now approaching 39. This is kind of the levels that we liked. VWAP is actually at 39.03. We're going to get in a little bit earlier than that if it does break through 39. It's embarrassing because we called this back to 39, but I didn't want to go long down here because I was fearful of the market, and I thought that NEO needed this, but obviously it does not. So we'll wait to see 39, and then next stop probably 40. If we get to 39 longs, you know, probably, you know how I do. We'll be scalping out pretty quick. We'll get some